The following is a work of fiction. The intent is to promote and publicize a work of American fiction. Similarities to real people, places, or events are entirely coincidental.
Welcome to another reading from Henri Edson Ximenez. Today is chapter 43, and the title is Henri Edson Ximenez. And now, chapter 43, Henri Edson Ximenez. You did it. You returned the brick. Not only that, but when you returned the brick, I came back. I'm back, baby. In my body, in my skin, in my clothes, in my soul. Perry Ellis still looks tight. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Henri Edson Ximenez. Ring a bell? You may have heard of me by my initials, H.E. Ximenez. That's right. I am your hex. Human form, obviously. You know, it is hard to believe, but I once thought you were my ringer. You were coming after me for the hit. Ha. Nope. Just some tourist with a camera focusing on a church. An insipid tourist hanging around the grounds of my employment. Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. Finding blackbirds on a power line. So inspiring, photogenic. Just showing up at the wrong place at the right time. Twice. Not only was I confused, I shared my befuddlement with the Memphis mob. I guess they thought you were my money man. That November afternoon in '97, the mob had had enough. The sequence of events that followed are still confusing. Let me fill you in. The Brougham edition punched it, all 222 horses. I managed to push you out of the way. I then ran back to my car. I thought you were down, but not out. After a moment, you dusted yourself off in the street, incredibly, nonchalantly, like you were just bitten by a mosquito. Then you proceeded back into St. Louis Cemetery number 1. What the hell, guy? Curiosity killed me. Literally, I believed. I followed you in, walked quietly past the tour group, then watched you do something unusual. You removed a piece of marble, rubble, brick from a tomb. At that same moment, everything changed for me. I was out of my body. I was floating. I couldn't feel my hands. Out of my skin, my clothes, my eyes. At that time, I thought I knew what happened. It must have been when I pushed you aside. It was I who got run over by the mob. I got hit by the car. I was the one who died. It brought sadness and peace at the same time. I imagined MLGW would contact my Uncle Bernard back in Memphis, explain Henri had gambling debts, believe the mob tailed him down to New Orleans, probably disposed of Henri's body in Lake Pontchartrain, eventually eaten by nutrias. No body to recover. That, of course, wasn't the case. It was something somehow much worse than that. I became imprisoned, trapped in your mind, stuck in your thoughts at the strangest times. This odd man, this tourist, and you as warden. You somehow fixated on the idea of a hex for the next 7 years. 7 ungodly years. Even when you put the brick in the truck initially, that fateful day, almost immediately created doubt in your mind. On returning home, everywhere the brick was placed brought misfortune. Could it be because you kept moving it? You never stayed in one place long enough. The stupid brick, that insipid chunk of limestone, always got packed into various odds and ends moving boxes for every relocation you did. What a joke. Then, when it came to talk about it, to tell some otherworldly entity of your hex, you choose the counsel of your supposed flame, the one you had the hots for. Of course I'm talking about the one and only Ilsa Navas. This thing you have for Ilsa Navas, who explains that the evil spirits are pissed. What a hack job. What a line from the Tiro journalist. How many Jim and Gingers did you have? You wormed the devastating 9/11 tragedy into this fateful mix as well. My goodness, is everything that goes wrong in this world connected to you? The band's record comes out that same day. You find touring depressing, dull. Wow, I think you got some issues to work out, buddy. You did finish the New Orleans video, even stashed it at Video American, which was the hipster Baltimore boutique for VHS at that time. Plus you continued your music career, several more musical collaborations, created a website with all of your material. All in all, this sounds very prolific. So why do you think you had a hex? Why did it only come out when you had doubt? Then another move, and another roommate. You burden Jan with the ordeal, and she thinks Jack is selling the house. Because of the hex? This is all too much for me. And the punchline, my goodness, the punchline is believing I had something to do with an iguana leaping off a balcony, and then 3 years later turns up dead in its cage with lifeless eggs resting next to the brick. It would be funny if it weren't so sad. Because you fought back against me by writing about me in your first drafts. Didn't give me a proper name. Then you called this manuscript something about a hex, which you emailed to the Wonder Girl in Washington. I can tell you right now, it's not going to work out. You're wasting your time. This voyage will take you to Portland. And then, no further. Oops, spoiler alert. Sorry, champ, but damn it, as soon as you pressed send on that draft and you spoke the hex into existence, I was stuck with you. So I hatched a plan. From then on, when there wasn't emptiness, darkness, a void, despair in my world, that my lifeless body could not escape from. The only kind of consciousness I observed, my only being, was these deep-seated thoughts, doubts, disappointments, delusions in your mind that I was a spell put onto you. A spell that would replay all the events in the saga encapsulated over 13 years, from 1991 through 2004, over and over again, in a different order each time, randomly, as a remedy, as a solution for letting me go. It was my attempt to cease and desist from your dark thoughts so I could escape, to get you to bring that damn brick back to New Orleans. If it meant life, death, or peace for myself, at that point none of those mattered. I would settle for any of it. It was 7 years of replaying all those events with different scenarios, like shuffling cards in a deck, looking to pull out that ace. For example, you keep trying to play the keyboard without the right pedal. You cannot find the t-shirt stand at the Lollapalooza concert, nor do you claim a will call ticket that gives you 2. Jan has an endless supply of spiders that terrify her. You keep trolling churches in Louisville until you find the right funeral. You have to be in sight of the TV cameras at Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. Ilse Navas, she will continue to make excuses that 2 Scorpios don't mix. Mortal Arthur telephones from random points of exile. Hafnarfjord, Quebec City, Prince Edward Island. Ultimately Thule, the northernmost city in the world, subsisting on walrus fat and teaching Icelandic to Inuits. Wonder Girl continues to change her MSN chat name from Octoberific to Pumpkin Spies to Hollow Bean. Yes, I fought back in this mental prison nicely as well. When you got lost along the way, I made sure in the Seattle mosh pit you always get a Doc Martin somewhere where a Doc Martin shouldn't be. The New Orleans Tarot Reader randomly selects time and distance. Thought you knew that. I always make you miss the link ratio. I was tempted to have the black Corolla break down, but I liked that car, it had style, so I kept trashing the Camry instead. Too many Jim and Gingers at Dougherty's, just barely missing the DUI each time. Only because I needed you to keep driving. And the coup de grace, all that Spanish moss. I kept whispering in your ear, I don't think you have enough. Not nearly enough. Keep bending over. Scoop up some more. 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 Ha. Vinny always dies. It's a reptile. That's what they do. At the bookstore in Seattle, the girl always smiles at you, just like a reptile. That's what they do. I did mix up the Vonnegut selections. Sometimes Bluebeard, sometimes Mother Night, occasionally Breakfast of Champions. Yes, all of this hoping that one day you would get the nerve to pack your things, draw up a one-way trip to the Pacific Northwest, and most importantly, Bring the damn brick with you. Travel back south through the big NO. Return it to its eternal resting place. Maybe that is the only way I can get out of this loop. Take my chances with whatever comes next. Because enough of you. Now it is time. I'm back. Being back in my clothes, feeling quite refreshed. I can get on a bus. I can go back to Memphis. Tell Bernard and Juanita I got scared. I had to stay away so that the mob wouldn't visit you. Talk to Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. They would take me back. So here we are, today. I've waited a long time for you to figure this all out. To tell me what the hell a hex is. So here I am. Pardon the excessive curiosity, but you owe it to me. Tell me all about it.